Okay. All right. Three, two, one. Welcome to my pitch for my second year FMP. I'm going to be pitching my concept for my final major project and giving context and rationale behind why I chose this as my concept. I've chosen to create a short film this year for my FMP, as throughout the course, I've most enjoyed coming up with concepts for films and delivering them in the format of a short film. I aim for the runtime for my short film to be around 5 to 10 minutes, as in a recent survey I distributed to my peers at college and some friends, I asked them what the most appropriate runtime for a short film was, and 5 to 10 minutes was the joint first option. I think 5 to 10 minutes is a good runtime for a short film, as it's not too long where you risk it being boring and boring your audience, and then it's not too short either. And I plan to document my journey of creating the short film from start to finish on my Wix website. So I include behind the scenes photos that evidence my work, as well as vlogging all the way through the project. And genre. When I was picking the genre of my film, I originally wanted to make another psychological horror film, but then I decided I wanted to challenge myself to make something different than I did last year for my FMP. So I played around with a couple ideas until I decided that I want to create a post-apocalyptic short film. In the research section, I plan to thoroughly research into the genre and gain an understanding of the codes and conventions of post-apocalyptic films for me to include in my own film. The concept. So the concept for my short film is based around a teenage boy who's woken up one day to discover that they're the only person left in their neighborhood, as they're trapped inside this transparent dome that they can't leave. They're isolated from everyone except hunters that are entering the dome every now and then to stalk him in the day, suss out where he is, and then hunt him at night. I'm going to use a montage style editing to follow the protagonist on a guide to survival style in the dome. You will see him carrying out tasks to survive, ranging from collecting supplies and running from his life from whatever it is that hunts him. He is unaware, though, as to what has trapped him there, which I'm hoping will engage the audience to come up with their own theory as to what is it that's imprisoned him and whatever's put him in this predicament he finds himself in. And I plan to use a 3-act structure to further develop my concept and my script. So you might ask, why this idea? I've always been fascinated by films that are centered around humans being put in difficult, sometimes life-threatening situations and seeing how they cope with this and how they survive. So some films with these concepts are The Hunt, which is an image in the middle, 28 Days Later, which is the image on the left, and I Am Legend. They all feature this convention, and I wanted to work with this to create something that I feel is a new twist and could work in a post-apocalyptic short film. So yeah, these are some of the films that have inspired my concept, particularly Black Mirror in this middle image, with its episode called White Bear. The episode centers around a woman being chased by a group of women in a small town, all for the basis of this twisted reality TV show that sees criminals being mind wiped and then put in this town where they're hunted down by a group of volunteers. I also really like the style in Zombieland, how the main character breaks the fourth wall and he uses it to tell the audience the rules of how to survive in a zombie apocalypse. Uh, so yeah, I plan to use this technique in my short film, although I am aware that it can be hard to execute right. So I'm going to have to thoroughly research this in my research section to make sure that it's not cringy or yeah, I need to make sure I get it right for my film. And if it didn't feel organic, then I could always adapt my script as I'm going along the way and come up with something else that I feel would suit it better. So yeah, for the research section, I'm gonna divide my research into primary and secondary research. So for the primary research, I'm mainly going to use questionnaires and interviews, focus groups to find out more about what audiences like about post-apocalyptic films. And I'm planning to interview. I have a friend that's particularly really into these type of films. He's a bit of a film nerd for this type of film. So I was thinking I could talk to him on maybe a video call and ask him like what are the best parts of, what's the best thing about these films, what should I be including in my film, uh yeah, just like a range of different questions. And in the questionnaire, similarly to the interview, but to a wider range of um to a wider range of people, I could ask them questions that could help me make decisions later on. So for example, I could ask them, maybe I could give them three options for something that happens in the film and ask them which they think would be a more satisfying ending or satisfying opening to a scene. And yeah, I plan to present all my data visually, whether this be a visual essay or bar charts, maybe. And then for my secondary research, I'm going to carry out case studies into the genre to learn more about it. And I want to look specifically, I think I'd like to dissect maybe that episode in Black Mirror I mentioned earlier, or either I Am Legend or Zombieland. I still need to make my mind up about that, but I'd like to do that for my secondary research. And yeah, as I said before, I'll display my data visually through a range of different means. I'll try and keep it as visual and creative as possible. So, how will I measure my success once I've finished making the film? I will use some review questionnaires that I can hand out to anyone who's seen the film, asking them questions from, did you like the film? Did you dislike it? Uh, what could have been done differently? Um, did it fit within the chosen genre? And all types of questions like that, as well as focus groups with maybe some peers from college or some of my friends and family, and get people together and talking about my film and giving me some constructive feedback on what they liked and what could have been done differently. I'll also, I've I forgot to mention earlier, I'll also create a project plan that delivers key dates so I can use it to structure my time efficiently to make sure I'm keeping to working at a good enough standard and making sure that I'm definitely going to meet the deadline so I can have set myself separate deadlines for each section for my context research, production, and evaluation. So yeah, thank you for listening. I hope this has given you an insight into my concept for my film, and I look forward to showing you it once it's finished.